spiritual journey, whoever you love, you are welcome here today for this 1 hour, and you are part of our congregation. My name is Lois Wood, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a worship associate here at First Parish Church, and it is my honor to be assisting Reverend Ken Brown as a guest minister today. I have known Ken for more than 35 years. He is actually the guy that performed our marriage, and he's a fabulous person. Ken, where is it? Is a minister emeritus from First Parish Fellowship Church in Hingham, having retired at 22 after 35 years of service. He lives in Hingham with his wife Susan. They have 3 grown and married children and 8 grandchildren. He's on the leadership team of the Elders Climate Action and co-chair of Listening to Other Voices, a lecture series at Glastonbury Abbey in Hingham. I call your attention to the announcements in the order of service, which are right here, so you know what's going on coming up. We welcome everyone here, including everyone on Zoom. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Lois, for your kind welcome. And it's wonderful to be here again, as I have for a number of times over the years. Sunday worship and some other times, other occasions. Great to be here once again. I love being in a beautiful space. It was the home of my colleagues, Robin Walsh and Catherine, colleagues and old friends. So it's particularly good to be here. And I always, Lois is just about always the worship host and assistant when I'm here, and that's a special treat for me too, Lois. Good to be here. It is time to breathe into this time made sacred by our presence, made sacred by the generations who've worshipped here, who've remembered here, who've shared joys and sorrows here over decades and centuries. May we breathe into this time of worship, pausing as much as we can the stirrings of our minds, sometimes unceasing worries, and they go on pause. Pause and allow measures of peace to enter our souls, our lives. Pause and be held. Feel that we are held by those around us in this community of love, held by all those, wherever they may be, who love us and who we love. Pause and be nourished by this sacred space. Be nourished by the music of the day. Be nourished by a word that strikes our heart just so this day. Pause that we might better be able to return to the hours and days of our lives renewed and strengthened for whatever life may bring us in our own lives in this world of struggle and beauty that we share. We have entered a time of worship together, and it is good. Let's sing, but first Lois tells me she's forgotten something. So,
I'm probably going to be fired as worship associate. I forgot to say our land acknowledgement. We gratefully acknowledge the Patuxet Wampanoag people on whose ancestral lands we gather today. We commit to support and honor their history and culture. After this formal service, we all invite everyone to gather in the assembly hall, which is through that door right there. This is actually part of the service. It's fun to meet other people. If you are new or new-ish to the congregation, please grab a red cup, and people will enthusiastically greet you for being here. We also want to recognize the flowers that are here today, that are given to us by Julie and Ted Lillis. That's it.
Lois. Now we'll sing. This is, my parents became Unitarian Universalists when I was about 10 down on Long Island, and a few hymns I remember from that time. I was shy, I never went to Sunday school, I sat in the service. But I remember just a couple of the hymns that we routinely sang, and this, of course, has been sung for generations in our congregations. For the beauty of the earth, number 21 in your gray hardback hymn book. Let's sing with spirit together.
Sacred bonds that link us to all living things.
Its radiance calling us to cast light, freedom, justice, and peace on all the world.
Thank you.
stay kind of over here so people can hear me. So a lot of your friends are on, well, you're all on vacation, I guess, but some of your friends aren't here this morning, but it's good to see you. Wonderful to see you this morning. So, oh, very nice to meet you. So, I'm going to be talking about, with the adults later on, something called wonder. And we feel wonder, some of us, most of us, maybe all of us, sometimes when we see something beautiful or amazing. And so before we sing a song, that's why I've got this, and it's sort of about wonder, I want to ask you, and all of you too, what was maybe one of the most recent things, the last thing that made you feel wonder, like say, oh, wow, that is something. Anybody have anything? Oh, wow. Yes.
When I watched Charlotte's Web, it was so amazing that I was like, when Charlotte the spider wrote something on it.
I know. So he said when he watched Charlotte's Web, and the spider writes something on her web. That's amazing. You just, that's another word for wonder. Thank you. That's a wonderful example from a beautiful book. Yes?
Me and my friend Sophie came up with a really good idea. We're both making books, and we decided we could do a crossover. Like, they each read each other. That's kind of like, wow, how did you come up with that?
Wow. So coming up with a really cool idea with your friend who you were writing a book together. That's, wow, how did that happen? Yes?
And my two cousins got me this big Mickey Mouse. Like, they're huge.
Oh, your cousins made a big Mickey Mouse when you were, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah.
I forgot to tell you, it looks like a boy.
It looks like a boy. Well, Mickey Mouse, most people think, guess his pronouns were he, him, Mickey's, just like mine. Anybody out here really quickly, yes?
I was at a friend's house on Friday night, and around 6 o'clock, I saw a couple of people flying in the tree, but they were
man.
close to the house. It was beautiful.
Yeah, eagles flying. Boy, that's a wondrous sight. Anybody else? One or two more? Oh, man, you're starved for wonder. Yes.
Walking the dog yesterday, I just marveled at some of the grass in people's lawns that mixed the different shades of green with the moss and the grass and the light, all the shades of green.
Seeing the shades of green on the greening lawns. Yeah. I went out for a walk a number of mornings ago, and it was one of these crystal clear mornings, and I was just struck. Not that I would know, but it was like being on a psychedelic trip. They were so bright. The blue of the tarp over a boat and the red barn, and I thought, oh, wondrous. Who thought of having color in this world? What a great idea. And I know some people, unfortunately, can't see color, but we who can, it's great. Well, we're going to sing a song. Yes, one more.
Eagles. I listened to an NPR show in the 1970s. There was only 1,000 eagles in the lower 48, and like a lot of birds are endangered, but not the raptors. Now there are over 200,000 eagles.
Wow, from 1,000 eagles to 200,000. That's great, Doug. Thank you. So some of you know the song of What a Wonderful World. If you know it, please sing with me at least the line, what a wonderful world, which comes around again. Can you all say, what a wonderful world?
What a wonderful world.
Oh, I only heard one person. Can you all say, what a wonderful world? There we go. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, here it comes, what a wonderful world. I see sky of blue and clouds of white. I see clouds of blue and no. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. The bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night, the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands. I see friends shaking hands saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Oh, yeah. I hear babies cry. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know, And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Last chance. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. You loved it? Oh, thank you. I loved hearing everybody sing. Well, now we get to sing again. We're going to sing you out with This Little Light of Mine, and you've each got your light, let it shine, okay? Here we go.
This is the third Sunday of the month, so for Joys and Concerns, we invite you to grab a sheet of paper sometime in the service and write down your joys, concerns, or cares for the world. And we will collect those and read them. If you're on Zoom, simply email Reverend Dara your joys and concerns, and we will be acknowledging them in the pulpit.
Okay. There are none on paper, but there is no question, but there are joys, sorrows, and concerns in our hearts. And so a candle will be lit for all of those and for one another, because we hold one another in our hearts.
Joys not spoken.
Right. So this for all the joys, all the concerns, all the cares, for the world, for each other, that are unspoken but deeply felt. May we join our hearts and minds in the spirit of prayer and meditation. Gracious Holy One of many names and beyond all names, Spirit and source of life and of love, all around us and resting in our hearts. May we breathe yet more deeply into this time, each breath opening us simply and profoundly to the wondrous gift of this moment, in this place, in this company of friends and neighbors. And then noticing, as we might, the yearnings of our hearts. Just another name for prayers. The yearnings of our hearts. For the well-being of dear ones in our lives, some of whom may be traveling through difficult times of suffering or grief. For our own peace and well-being in the midst of whatever challenges we may be facing. And the yearning that we might find the courage and wisdom and presence of mind and heart to face these challenges. Yearnings in our hearts, prayers for the safety of immigrants among us in our nation. So much a part, woven part of our life as a nation. Yearnings, prayers for the survival and future of our democracy. Yearnings, prayers for peace in the Middle East. Wherever conflict rages and bombs fall. And comfort to all those throughout each part of our world in the midst of conflict who grieve and suffer. Prayers for peace. The yearnings in our hearts this day, whatever they may be, we hold deeply as we hold one another. And we now discover measures of peace and renewal in a time of shared, sacred silence. Blessed be, and amen.
This is a few brief selections from the 1855 edition of Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. Each moment, and whatever happens, thrills me with joy. I cannot tell how my ankles bend, nor whence the cause of my faintest wish, nor the cause of the friendship I emit, nor the cause of the friendship I take again. To walk up my stoop is unaccountable. I pause to consider if it really be. That I eat and drink is spectacle enough for the great authors and schools. A morning glory at my window satisfies me more than the metaphysics of books. To behold the daybreak, the little light fades the immense and diaphanous shadows. The air tastes good to my palate. I will not have a single person slighted or left away. A kelson of the creation is love. Here ends the reading.
And beautifully read. Walt would be proud, pleased. I had to look up the word kelson. when I first came across this, but there are a bunch of sailors here who know that kelson has something to do with the keel of a ship. So it's that which keeps us on balance no matter which way the wind is blowing. A kelson of the creation is love. And from love comes, among much else, generosity. Yes, we come to the time of our offering our gifts, your gifts, that support the good work of this community, that have enabled it to live and thrive all these many, many generations, and will continue to do so. So in that spirit, morning offering will now be given and received. Oh, thank you. John Denver was the troubadour of wonder, was he not? So many of his songs. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you to the choir. Thanks to everyone who makes these services happen. Once again, thanks to Lois. Second reading is brief by Joanna Macy. She said, active hope is waking up to the beauty of life on whose behalf we can act. We belong to this world. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. The web of life is calling us forth at this time. We've come a long way and are here to play our part. Here ends the reading. We're going to sing again, Blue Boat Home, number 1064, in your soft-covered green or teal-covered hymn book. Blue Boat Home, rising in body or spirit. Be seated. Why talk about wonder and awe when our democracy seems to be dissolving, when the world burns, it's overheated, and the current administration, I won't start the list, fractures ties with allies, starts endless wars, all sorts of cruelties here at home. You know the list. So why talk about wonder and awe at this moment in history? There might be no better time, actually, it seems to me, than now to talk about wonder and experiences, seeking experiences of wonder and awe. The singer-songwriter Mark Arelli, one of our local favorites in our family, puts it this way in his song, Sense of Wonder. He sings, "If you ever lose your sense of wonder, honey, it'll be too soon." Remember that. If you ever lose your sense of wonder, honey, it'll be too soon. So many of our lives can, if we pay attention, evoke a sense of wonder or awe. For Walt Whitman, it was as simple as walking up his step and how his ankle bends in the morning glory at his window. We heard some pretty simple examples this morning that evoke wonder. Wonder sometimes leading to awe, you might say, wonder on steroids. We get a sense, moments of awe, of the vastness and mystery of the universe, of realities beyond our understanding. Experiences so profound and moving that we might, with Emerson, who was simply standing on a bare common, when he said, "I was glad to the brink of fear." Whew. You think our Artemis II astronauts, who suddenly were talking like poets instead of scientists, were they glad to the brink of fear? Would they have put it that way? I wonder. Here back on Earth, how could we not experience wonder looking at some of those photos? Or even just, on my morning walks, I'd look up at the moon if it was high enough in the sky and think, whoa, they're on their way. Or a couple days later, they're on their way back. Wondrous. And those photos reminding us of how precious and indeed wondrous is this only home of ours. 18th century philosopher Immanuel Kant, in a way, boiled all such experiences of wonder and awe down to two overarching categories. It may be that I've shared this with you before, because I return to it often in my thinking, sometimes in my preaching. He wrote, "Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe, the oftener and the more steadily we reflect on them: the starry heavens above and the moral law within." As we might put it, the natural beauty all around us in whatever form, whether it was the snow-covered woods this winter, the greening grass in many shades right now, and the buds. There's a wonderful poem by Archibald MacLeish. He says things like, "Why, it was amazing. It was wonderful. Leaves out of dry sticks." Really think of it. On the other hand, we can think of examples of moral courage that evoke wonder for us. Courage, heroic behavior, grounded in conscience and virtue, the moral law within, as Kant put it. I'll share just a few of my own experiences that evoked wonder and awe as you continue. Probably already been thinking of some of your own. 60 or so years ago, gazing into a telescope, I saw for the first time the moons of Jupiter and the rings of Saturn. Not just artist renderings, but there, from our suburban backyard. Wow. A splendid summer morning, almost as long ago, during my years as a summer camp counselor in the Adirondacks, hiking up what we called Vampire Mountain. Probably had a different name, actually. And I got up high enough, sat on a rock, looked back. It was morning, the light was beautiful, and I looked back at the summer camp, and then beyond the forests, the hills, the mist in the distance, the lakes. And it occurred to me, it kind of viscerally occurred to me, that however far I hiked, wherever I was, I could never be entirely alone. I would never be entirely alone, never be completely independent, but was always part of the whole, part of the human family, part of the family of life, interdependent, dependent on the whole of nature for my sustenance, my very life. When it comes to the moral law within, about 15 years ago, as I had sat through the night by the side of my mother, who had broken her hip the night before, we were awaiting urgent hip surgery that morning, replacement. And she was sleeping, I couldn't sleep. And as the hospital began to awaken, well, it never sleeps, but as more workers came in, their housekeeper, aides, doctors, nurses, maintenance, everybody doing their bit. And it occurred to me, I felt, this is a house of love. They're all doing this. Well, some of them maybe just need the dollars, but there's so much love being expressed in all that they each did. I was in awe. And perhaps you, as I was, were in awe seeing those demonstrators on the streets of Minneapolis, protesters coming out over and again, day after day, in truly frigid cold. We here in the Boston area don't know frigid, I don't think, compared to what they were coming out to do, as it turns out, at very risk of their lives. And they were coming out and kept coming out. There because the moral law within called them to be there, just as it called so many of us across the country and around the world to be there a few weeks ago for the No Kings protest. We could have been elsewhere, could have been enjoying brunch, leafing through the paper or a book of poetry at home. But the moral law within called us. What do these quite varied experiences and all the experiences that perhaps are coursing through your minds right now have in common? Whatever else, each such experience takes us out of what we can call our small selves. The psychologist Datcher Keltner reinforces this. He says it too in his book, Awe, the New Science of Everyday Wonder and How It Can Transform Your Life. Sounds like a self-help book, and it kind of is, but there's a lot of research undergirding his research into the meaning of awe and wonder. He says these experiences take us out of our, what we call our small self, not unnecessary self. We need to be able to navigate the day, go through our to-do list and do what needs to be done. But if we're always there, we've divorced ourselves from a sense, the experience of who we also really are, which is part of this big self, as the Hindus put it, the large self, capital S, part of it all, instead of the narrow experience if we stay there within our to-do lists all the time. But these experiences of wonder and awe give us the feeling, if we're open to it, of being part of the whole, the interdependent web of existence, as our Unitarian Universalist seventh principle puts it. I wonder, therefore I am, is my sermon title, taken from, with an important change, from the 17th century philosopher René Descartes. But Monsieur Descartes, who said, I think, therefore I am, but Descartes, what sort of I? Just the thinking self? Amazing in itself, wondrous that we can have thoughts and be conscious of our thoughts and so on, but it's not the whole story of who we are. But I wonder, therefore I am, opens us to this far wider and deeper experience of who we are beyond our individual small selves, not just to the abstract notion, because we know, we can say all the reasons why we are part of an interdependent web, but we can have that experience. Wonder and awe bring us there. Wonder. It's named and evoked in countless stories and the myths and legends of the world's spiritual and religious traditions, whether at Christmas time, Easter, Passover, the Night of Power in the Islamic tradition. Not pretending these stories, most of them not pretending to literal truth, but often have the effect of awakening us to the miracle and wonder, the unimaginable vastness and mystery of our lives, of the cosmos, taking us beyond words, even such words, the big ones such as God, Allah, Brahman, Tao, and so on, which can trick us into thinking, now we know what it's all about. Ancient stories, just like our personal experiences, awakening us to the wonder of life. That's one of the things that these sacred days and times and festivals do for us. They reawaken us to the wonder of life around us and within us, as life something more than, as the poet Wordsworth put it, getting and spending, through which, he said, we lay waste our powers. Surely and sadly sounds like too much of our culture these days. The stanza in which those words appear goes like this: the world is too much with us late and soon. Getting and spending, we lay waste our powers. Little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away. A sordid boon. Given our hearts away. And for what? Returning then to my question at the outset, why does any of this matter? These this talk of wonder during these days, especially when we must be speaking up and speaking out, to be out on the streets if we can, to protest the egregious acts of the current administration, the cruelty so often of the president and others in his administration, his imperial ambitions, thoughtless wars. Speaking up we must, and speaking out to save democracy, to save the rule of law at home and internationally, to, during this Earth Week and on Earth Day and always, to keep doing what we can do to maintain and sustain a livable, decent planet. In all these ways, doing what we can and must to ensure a decent and more than decent future for the children in our lives and for all generations to come, for life. Why indeed talk about the power of wonder and awe in the midst of all that must be said and done? To begin with, it's kind of about self-preservation, making sure we tend to our spiritual health by taking time and attention away from the incessant news cycle, daily, hourly, minute by minute sometimes, to give our attention instead, sometimes or more than sometimes, to the beauty all around us, to the wonders of this world, if only as a way of recharging. Yes, that matters, that's important. But it's also more, far more, as I've been suggesting this morning, since wonder and awe do take us from our small, narrow concerns and selves and open us to what we might call, to use another word, communion with the natural world, with each other, with the source of all, by however we might name it, which means that wonder and awe open us to love. Love, the primal motive force of just about all that we do in our lives, certainly the best things that we do. Experiences of wonder and awe have this power to bring us together as kin in the family of humanity, the family of life. Dr. Keltner, in that book on awe, emphasizes that wonder and awe bring us together not only in the presence of natural beauty, the springing outside these windows, or music, or spiritual practices, and so on, but he writes that across, above all, he says, moral beauty. He writes that a cross-cultural survey around the planet, different countries, different cultures, tells us that, here I'm quoting him, what most commonly led people around the world to feel awe, most commonly, was other people's courage, kindness, strength, and overcoming. That bowled me over. That's where people go when they're asked the question, what brings you wonder? Again, those demonstrators putting their lives at risk, whether in Minneapolis or not too long ago in Tehran, other places around the world. Such examples and many, many more reminding us of who we truly are, most deeply are as human beings, certainly of who we are at our best. Yes, of course, thinking beings, that matters, that's important, it's wondrous too, as I said, but also in some ways and more fundamentally heart-centered moral beings, reminding us of all that we as humane beings at our best seek in this world, in our nation, in our communities, seeking to create places like this one of mutual care and compassion for one another, care for our wondrous earth home. Rachel Carson wrote decades ago, in words that are likely familiar to many of you, that she wished for every child an indestructible sense of wonder. That would be, quote, an unfailing antidote against the boredom and disenchantments of later years, the sterile preoccupation with things that are artificial, the alienation from the sources of our strength. Alienation from the sources of our strength, we might say from our resilience. Strength and resilience grounded in a sense of wonder, which, as Mark Aureli sang, if you lose it, honey, it'll be too soon. Too soon, certainly, in terms of our personal capacity to experience those wondrous moments, to be fully alive and awake in those moments, but also too soon for all of us together, our nation on this earth. Wonder and awe, direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder as the first source of our UU living tradition puts it. Not an escape from life and from the news, it might be that sometimes, but as nourishment for our lives, also whatever we're doing, whatever's going on in our own lives and in the world. For just as vitamins and minerals and exercise are essential physical nourishment, so wonder and awe are essential spiritual, moral nourishment, helping us, more importantly than ever, to ground our lives and our actions not in the destructive and life-denying, degrading cultural matrix of getting and spending, but in experiences of who we truly are as human beings, in profound solidarity with others, with life, with love, the kelson of creation. All this, finally, that we might be among those who in our time, our moment in history, are among those who are helping to bend the arc of the moral universe towards justice, as Dr. King so often said in his time, quoting, paraphrasing, Reverend Theodore Parker, the Unitarian reformer, who was striving to bend the arc of the moral universe at his time, so to us, as we work together across our nation and around the planet for justice, for peace, for the earth, and for so much else, not because we know we should, but because we feel we must. We must. So may it be. Blessed be, and amen. We will sing again, and during the last verse of this hymn, I've been asked to remind the ushers to come up during the last verse or so to be prepared to extinguish our chalice. The hymn is number 108 in our gray hymn book, My Life Flows On in Endless Song, 108. May we rise in body or spirit.
Please join us with the words in the order of service as we extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I guess you remain standing for this. Nobody's sitting down. As Joanna Macy wrote, the web of life is calling us forth. At this time, we've come a long way and are here to play our part. In that spirit, as Artemis II crew member Christina Koch said, as we too must say, we will always choose Earth. We will always choose each other. In the spirit of these calls, may we, aware of the blessings of our lives, turn this day and always and make of our lives a blessing to one another, to this community, to life. Blessed be. Amen.